evening. Happy Friday, everyone. The weeks keep going so quickly, and it'll be Christmas time before we know it, which is slightly scary. But tonight's topic is about anger and frustration, and it's that overwhelming anger and frustration that we don't really know where it comes from, and it tends to creep up on us, and we're not really sure why we're frustrated and angry, but it just keeps happening. So I guess for bullying and things like that, it's that repeated negative behavior towards you. And at the start, I guess you feel like you can handle it, you can deal with it, you can, I guess, find ways to cope or not let it get to you. But eventually it does weigh you down and it impacts your mental health. And so the more that you're subjected to that negative behavior or that workplace bullying, the more your body, without you being able to see it, is being impacted. And from personal experience, I know that I struggled in the workplace with various different workplace bullies and how they treated me, but I didn't feel comfortable expressing my opinions and my frustrations to them, and because obviously they were making me feel uncomfortable, intimidated, whatever the case may be. So instead of being able to address the issue that I was having, I would actually be frustrated and angry in a lot of other situations, and sometimes outside the workplace. So that could manifest, say, driving your car. I'm sure a lot of road rage has a lot to do with workplace bullying and people frustration. But even in the grocery line, if you're impatient, upset that someone's taking too long, maybe that could be, it's not the issue that you have with that person. It might be an issue that you're kind of dealing with, but it's manifesting in a different way, and it might kind of come out in weird and wonderful ways where you don't really expect it, and so you don't really know how to kind of attribute your feelings. And I find that the anger and frustration that I have, it can get better or worse depending on what I'm doing or how I'm kind of recognizing my feelings and making sure that I'm addressing things as they come up rather than bottling them up. And a lot of us are kind of guilty of bottling our feelings up, and then some poor person kind of cops the brunt of all of this pent up frustration and anger. And I'm definitely guilty of it, and I feel really bad a lot of the time. I'm managing it now, but when I was upset or something would happen at work, I would take it out on the person closest to me, which is my husband. So it's really kind of that double-edged sword, because we feel comfortable taking out frustrations on those closest to us because they're more than likely not going to kind of cut us off or run away from us. But it does do damage over time to our closest relationships, and a lot of people actually go through workplace bullying and other different experiences not knowing why they feel that way or what's happening. And then eventually, if they let it go and don't kind of catch it before it gets to a point where it actually can start taking away and eroding your support network and your friends and your family, and then you're kind of left more vulnerable to the workplace bully than you were at the start. And that's, I guess, their tactics, and that's how they operate. But we need to, I guess, try our best to recognize, and that's why people need to inform themselves of workplace bullying. It's not really known enough about in the workplace. I think I've talked about it before, but a lot of people talk about bullying in school, but then they kind of don't follow on the conversation to recognize that bullying is ripe in the workplace, and it's unacceptable, and they're kind of caught unaware. And it's kind of silly when you really sit down and think about it, because we all know about bullying in school, but we don't all talk about bullying in the workplace. It's kind of like a taboo subject, and this is kind of the subject that we should be talking about to make people aware of it, so that we can recognize it before it becomes a really severe issue. And obviously the severity of the issue can lead to suicide, and that's something that really shouldn't be a consequence of bullying in the workplace, but unfortunately it is. So as long as we can work together, support each other, and make sure that we're keeping each other accountable, but also maintaining our own boundaries so that we don't get, I guess, led down that path to anger and frustration and all of the, I guess, the things that we pick up along the way with it. So I hope that you have had a good day, but also you maybe can kind of have a look at your week from this week and recognize maybe if you've kind of carried around some anger and frustration from different situations and maybe, I guess, angled them towards the wrong people or towards the wrong situations and haven't, I guess, addressed them at the time. It's always nice to kind of have a reflection after the week that you've had and really just, I guess, learn from it. That's all we can really do as human beings. We need to learn from our mistakes, learn from the good that we do, and learn from each other. So I hope you have a great weekend, and I'm sure we'll chat again soon. Thanks.